Good morning, everyone. This is Mr. Holmstrom, and this is a Makerspace tutorial on how to complete Lesson 3, Happy Maps, in Code.org. So like last week, we had started in the Google Classroom. Same thing this week. I'm using Miss Washington's class as an example, but make sure that you have your class's Makerspace Google Classroom up. You go to Classwork. There will be Course A, Lesson 3. It's the one all the way at the top. That's how you know it's today's. So click on that. You'll notice there's a couple different links. So let's talk about what we have to do. The first line of direction says click on the code.org link. That's this one. Click on the Unplugged Activity button for Lesson 3. So what does that mean? That means when you click on code.org and you continue with Google and you find your name. I'm using a student's name in this one. You should notice a couple things that you have 1, 2, 3 lessons. The first one should be green because you did it last week. The second one, all of these bubbles should be green. The student just didn't do it yet, but that's okay. So this should be green and all of these should be green. If they are not, do those first. Okay. Now that we know to do Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 first, let's talk about Lesson 3. Here's that Unplugged Activity button we were talking about before. Click on that. You're going to watch this video. I am not going to play it. It's going to show you about the activity that we're going to do today. They are doing it with paper. We are not going to do it with paper, obviously, but it's going to be very similar. A lot of the same rules apply for the activity. When you are done, you click on continue. That way you get credit for watching the video. When you go back out to your dashboard, this button will be green if you watched it. So everything should be green, boys and girls. I repeat, everything should be green today. Now, after you're done watching that little video and everything is green, both unplugged activities and all of your circles, you are going to go back to the Google Classroom because I have a Jamboard waiting for you. This is the actual activity that you saw in the video in code.org. So it says, the last line says, click on Happy Maps Jamboard below and complete the exercise. So let's take a look at this Happy Map. When you click on this, here is what you are supposed to do. I would like you to first type your name at the top here. You do not have to put period and date. That's okay. Then it says, which way should the flurb step to get to the fruit? Here is our flurb. The little guy smiling. And here is the fruit. It's an apple. We have to use arrows from over here to get this guy up to here. Now in the video, they were using paper cutouts of the arrows and gluing them into the squares. We're not going to do that. What we are going to do is we are going to use our marker or our pen. I'm going to choose the, I guess I'll choose the highlighter, and I'm going to go with the green. And I am going to draw arrows to get to the fruit. Now, one easy way you could do is you could draw an arrow from the flurb up to the apple right there. And that's my arrow. So that would take out this arrow. I used that up. Now, let's say I didn't want to do that one. Let me erase that by clicking the back arrow. Let's say I wanted to use up more of the arrows. Well, I could go to the right. It's a little tricky to draw the arrows, but that's okay. So notice that I'm drawing the arrows across these lines. Think of these as like doorways. Like the flurb is in one room, and then this space is another room. We're crossing through that doorway to get to it. So that used up my right arrow. So I crossed that out. Then I want to go up into the next room or space. So I'm using my up arrow. And then I'm going from this room left to my apple, and that uses that arrow. That's an example. You could turn this in as your completed puzzle. Now, you won't do that because you have other puzzles. So you'll complete this one in the same manner. When you get to this one, number 3, it says, which 2 ways should the flurb step to get to the fruit? When you get to something like this where it says 2 ways, let's use 2 different color arrows. Notice that they give you these arrows over here, and we'll take these arrows over here. So let's go back to our green. Let's use these arrows first to get to our banana one way. So I'm going to use the down arrow to get to this space. That's that. I'm going to use the right arrow to get to the banana. Now let's use our red arrows. I could use my right arrow to get to that space. Where's my right arrow? There he is. Also known as the east. And then the down arrow to get to the banana that way. That's the down arrow there. So I used 2 different colors, came up with 2 different ways to get our flurb to the fruit using the 2 different sets. I just kind of color coded them. You can do the same if you care to. There are, let's see, 6 different puzzles all together. This one even gives you 3 different ways you could go, so you can use 3 different colors. And that's it. And then when you're done, you turn it in. All right. Thank you. Good luck. And I'll be watching to make sure everybody is good. Take care.